Well, you might not realize it, but negative thoughts can really impact your life for the worse.
Therapist Diane Lang started the Negativity Challenge. She's joining us now to tell us more about why we need it, how it can help. And Diane, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. And as I was reading this morning, I was thinking to myself, there are probably so many times during the day where I or many people have a negative thought. It's just, it's kind of upsetting when you really stop and think about it.
Thank you so much for having me. And yes, negativity is like our autopilot. We just go there automatically. And a lot of times we're not even aware that we're being so negative. So when I started this negativity challenge, a lot of my clients and even friends and family were like, wow, I didn't realize how negative I was until I started this. Because it's just so autopilot. You know, when something bad happens, when something just doesn't go the way we want, we get stuck in traffic, we automatically go to that negativity. So just being aware of it can actually help us make a change.
Diane, I would love to be, I think of myself as a positive person, but my life is, I do have a lot of negative thoughts during the day. I'm going to be honest about that. How do you just turn them off and say, I'm going to be positive?
Well, we're not actually wanting you to try to turn them off. The more you try to do something, the harder it gets. We want you to just become self-aware of it. The more you become aware of it, then you can start slowly stopping it. You're not going to be perfect. We're all going to have negative thoughts. I'm a therapist for a living and I have negative thoughts. I hate to admit it, but it's true. But I want to actually just get it better. So I tell my clients, like, if you have, if you feel like 75% of your day is filled with negativity, if we could get that down to 50%, then we're heading in the right direction. And it's really about noticing it. That's really the big issue. Most people are not even aware of how much negativity they have. So not expecting you to get rid of all of it. If you could do that, well, I'd have to analyze you and you would have to come over for a session because that would be amazing. But we can definitely lessen it, and we can become more optimistic in our life, even with negative things happening like we are, with COVID and the pandemic and everything going around.
I guess what Melissa and I both want to know is, do you have 5 o'clock open?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, how can we change it around though? Should we be like writing down when we have a negative thought so we're actually aware of it and kind of look at it and say, I'm going to turn this around?
I have my clients do it a little differently because trying to write down everything you're thinking is very hard. So I have them do a snap to awareness technique, and it's just putting a rubber band on your wrist. And every time you have a negative thought or comment, whether it's in your head or you say it out loud, you just want to snap it. And usually by the end of the day, I've had some clients be like, oh, that hurts. They notice it. But within a few days of snapping, they can start realizing when the negativity hits, what triggers it. Is it traffic? Is it work? Is it home life? Is it a certain person? And then they can start making changes. You can write it down. You can carry your phone with you and put it in the notes and just start writing down common words and phrases that keep coming up for you. But the rubber band technique just seems to be very easy. You could just wear it on your wrist, do a little bit of a snap, and you start noticing what's going on, how you're feeling, and what triggers it.
All right, Diane, I know you're a national speaker, educator, and certified positive psychology coach. Do you find that more people are positive or that more people are negative?
Well, in my field, I come across a little bit more of the negativity, but if I ask people like on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel generally, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best? Most people come on around a 6.
Yeah,
so they're kind of in the middle. It's not that bad. We have, days that are worse, days that are better. But in general, it's been between a 5 and a 6. Okay. And I think with COVID and everything going on, that's not that bad. But we want to move it up to a 7.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I would think this year was probably a lot harder for a lot of people. So you were probably erring more on the negative side than positive just because of COVID.
Well, I don't want people to be inundated. So I think people are between working from home, their kids being home, the news, everything that's going on. So it's really lessening it and just becoming more optimistic, not trying for perfection because that's, unrealistic.
Well, Diane, we find you to be a very positive influence on this show, so we hope you'll come back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nice to see you.
I'm going to try that rubber band trick.
Yeah, no,
I bet I snap it a lot more. I know. All right, well, Diane has virtual events coming up this month and next month. For more information, visit dlcounseling.com.